Hey everyone, welcome back to the Brownie and Stony. It's really dark in here. I'm not vlogging today because I thought at one point I should go over my stats that I've had during the college process, and I was going to show y'all what stats I had for applying to these colleges and getting accepted to Stony Brook University, Yale-NUS, Fordham University, Albany, a bunch of other schools as well. Before I go and explain more about my stats, I think I should talk about my school first. I go to the Bronx High School of Science, and that's one of the 8 specialized high schools of New York City, and you need to test into them. The test that you take is called the SATI. If you meet the cutoff score for either of one of the 8 schools, then you get admissions into one of them. That's literally the only thing you need to take and do to get into them, and you'd be Gucci. The SATI during my time had these scrambled paragraphs, logical reasoning, and then they had your classical reading, grammar, and math section. During my time, the cutoff score for Bronx Science was a 516. I had a 520 as my score. I'm not too sure about what the highest score is. I remember someone reached up to 720 or so. Maybe that's the highest, but maybe it might be higher. I'm not too sure. But the cutoff for Bronx Science was like 516 or so. However, a lot has changed in the SAT. The scrambled paragraphs are gone, logical reasoning is gone, and they changed the topics in the math section of the SAT and more, so like I'm definitely not helpful when it comes to SAT prep. Anyways, Bronx Science offers over 500 honors, APs, post APs, and dual enrollment classes, and I'll be going over each and every one of them. Honors classes are just like what the name says. They're honor level classes, so they'll be more difficult than your regular classes. I guess to get a feel of how difficult they are, they're just like a step in between like regular and AP level courses, if you get what I mean. I never had the chance to take any honors classes. It's whatever, I moved on. In terms of APs, I've taken 6 APs throughout my high school career. Sophomore year, I took European history. Junior year, I took biology. And senior year, I'm taking English literature and composition, calculus AB, psychology, and comparative government with politics. Even if you don't take the classes, you can still take the AP exam for the class that's being corresponded to. So for example, I took the US History AP exam during my junior year, even though I didn't take AP US History as a class. It's whatever. You can take it. It doesn't matter. APs are just being irrelevant as the years go by in the college level process. But in general, taking APs is very good. It generally shows how well you do with college level material, and you may have the opportunity to clear out some of the introductory classes during your first year of college. So you can have some space for more interesting or intriguing classes. That's coolio. To clarify what post-AP classes are, they're basically going further beyond within what AP classes are. And in order to get into these post-AP classes, you need to take the AP class for them first. For example, we have a post-AP biology genetics that you could take in Bronx Science. In order to get into that class, you need to take AP biology first, and you need to do well. You need to meet a certain cutoff to get the chance to be enrolled in one of them in the first place, since post-APs generally have a limited amount of space as well. For example, for post-AP biogenetics, you need to have a 90 or above to be considered. I didn't have that score. It's whatever. These post-AP classes are entirely designed by the school faculty. A lot of the school staff within Bronx Science are like doctors or scholars in their field. And it's really cool to get more in depth of the study that you're studying in with these post-AP classes, but it's also kind of hard to gauge or figure out how difficult these classes are, since the entire curriculum is created by the school faculty in the first place. But just like honors classes, I didn't have the chance to get into any post-AP classes. It's whatever. I moved on anyway. For Bronx Science, and I say for Bronx Science because I'm not too sure how this goes for other high schools, we have these dual enrollment classes, which are like AP classes, but they don't have the corresponding AP exam to it. So if you take these dual enrollment classes, you can also also earn college credits for them. That means you can clear out any elective courses within your first year of college. Basically, just clear out all those electives and you can have more space for more interesting or intriguing classes. Generally, for Bronx Science, these credits apply to the University at Albany and the majority of SUNY schools, or State University of New York, which we have over 40. I'll be going over different kinds of colleges that exist, like SUNYs, CUNYs, University of California, University of Texas, and all that stuff. All those weird state schools and all that stuff. I'll be going over those in future videos. I currently take one dual enrollment class, and that's Nutritional Science. And it's basically like AP Biology, except it focuses more on food and nutrition, literally in the name. It also talks about the interactions of food and our body, our vital needs, how our body functions, and more. But it's also hella fun as well, because for labs, we do get to cook, and Nutritional Science is the only lab science in Bronx Science where you're allowed to eat. So if you're in Bronx Science and if you don't have any lunch periods, you know the vibes, you know which class to take next year. There are other dual enrollment classes that are available at Bronx Science, like epidemiology and marine biology and etc. And these classes also are available for college credits as well. And the classes that are available for dual enrollment in Bronx Science are always changing. They're always adding more. They're always retaking some. They're always combining and all that stuff. So it changes every year. I'm not too sure how my video is going to be relevant as the times change. For Bronx Science, our GPA is unweighted and we go by the 100-point scale, or 100%. The median GPA is around a 90 or so. Mine was an 88.75. Don't know how that converts well into 4.0 scale. I like to say I have an 89 as my GPA. For Bronx Science, we don't have a rank, but that's weird considering we have a valedictorian and salutatorian. I'm guessing that Bronx Science just lists everyone from like top to bottom in terms of GPA and just takes the top 2 and then just ignores the rest. They don't put each other in like top 100% or top 20% or bottom 50 or that stuff. I think I'm running by this very quickly, but I don't know. But anyways, we'll be going over the SATs and SAT2s for me. Before going any further, I think I should let y'all know something very important in terms of SATs and also potentially ACTs as well. So the majority of colleges and universities superscore their SATs and ACTs. Meaning that if you get a high score in the reading and writing section, but a low score in the math section for one exam, but then you get a low score in the reading and writing section and a high score in the math section in another exam, then the colleges will take the highest score for either of the sections and then combine those two together to get your super score. The same thing rings true for the ACT as well, but you definitely need to research into the schools that you're applying to, because not all colleges super score their ACTs or their SATs. A majority of them do. But regardless, I strongly recommend taking the SAT and the ACT multiple times, as you can do better in one form of the SAT or ACT than the other and might never know what's going to happen. I took the SAT thrice. I took it in October of 2017, December of 2017, and October of 2018. I took the SAT essays as well for all of them. They're pretty okay. Pretty not too bad, but not too great, but pretty standard. For October of 2017, I got a 710 on the math section and a 630 in the reading section, and I got a score of 16 on my essay, with 6 on reading, 4 on analysis, and 6 on writing. For December of 2017, I got a 730 in the math section and a 600 in the reading section. So during that time, if I were to super score, then I would have my 730 in the math and 630 in reading to get a combined score of a 1360. For December 2017 in the essay, I got the same exact score for my essay. So for October 2018, things got a little more spicy. In the math section, I got 730. In reading, I got 680. And for the essay, I got a 20 out of 24 with a 7 in reading, 5 in analysis, and 8 in writing. For SAT prep, I personally recommend y'all to use the College Board's Blue SAT book, as they have the real SAT exams in there, as well as tips from the College Board as to how you can do better in the SAT. They also have a new version every year, but like they barely change at all. So you don't have to get the latest version, but if you wish to do that, by all means, go ahead. Another source for test prep is Erica Meltzer. For those in the SAT subreddit, Erica Meltzer is literally a saint. I'll be putting down the links to the books down in the description. If a newer version comes out for Erica's books, then by all means, go ahead and get those newer versions. For test prep in general, the College Board offers you some test prep with the collaboration of Khan Academy. That's really cute and all, and if you really can't afford test prep besides buying books or borrowing from the library, then by all means, go ahead and use Khan Academy. I personally don't like Khan Academy, as I feel like they don't grasp the SAT well enough. But what I do recommend are two different online test prep sources, 1600.io and UWorld. I've only used 1600.io momentarily, but I've used UWorld for a very long time. In terms of difficulty of the material, they are scary close to the College Board's real SAT exams. Back then, UWorld was free for us, as they used to give out the free trial codes through the SAT subreddit that were renewable back then when you went over the 6 months free trial. But they stopped doing that as of last year of November-ish. You're gonna have to pay, but if you do, I strongly recommend you use UWorld. So for SAT-2s, or better known as SAT subject tests, I took 2 SAT-2s. These are smaller 1 hour long exams. They're kind of like AP tests, but they don't give you the college credits, but rather they allow you to showcase your expertise of knowledge within the subject field and all that stuff. I personally love the SAT-2s over the SATs because they pretty much showcase and reveal more about who you are, what you're good at, how prepared you are for college level material, and a lot more than the SAT or even the APs. A great majority of colleges require or recommend, basically means the same thing, you to send in 2 SAT-2s. A small portion of colleges say it's not required. A small portion of colleges don't accept SAT-2s at all. Then we have the oddballs, like Georgetown University, which requires you to send in 3 SAT-2s, New York University, NYU, which allows you to send in an SAT-2 score instead of an SAT score. You can check more of their testing policy in the description below, or you can just search it up. I took 2 SAT-2s, biology, the ecological version, and I got a 700 for that. Biology has 2 different versions at the same time. They have ecological and molecular, and you get to choose during the exam which one you want to take. It's in your best interest to take the version that you understand a lot more in, though I must say that biology molecular does have a slightly better scoring curve than ecological. But if you're not that great in molecular, even with the curve, take ecological. In terms of the other SAT-2, I took mathematics level 2 and I got a 710 on that. SAT-2s are out of 100 in general. I recommend taking Math 2 over Math 1 because like Math 1 is basically useless to college admissions, as Math 1 focuses on what you learn in high school and Math 2 is what you learn in college. So Math 2 is pretty much going to test how prepared you are with college level material. I also recommend you to generally send scores that are 700 or above, with the exception of Math 2, which you should have a 750 or above. Clearly, I didn't have a 750 or above. I sent what I could. I personally recommend taking the SAT-2s to the corresponding AP classes that you took. That's not a necessity. For test prep, I personally recommend using Barron's test prep books, as well as the College Board's test prep practice books as well, because generally, Barron's and obviously the College Board does an amazing job with the SAT-2s. But it's so weird because for Barron's, even though they're great in SAT-2s, they're somehow terrible as hell with the SAT test prep, and even worse with APs. While I'm on the topic for APs, if you're taking the exam, I strongly advise not to use Barron's whatsoever for test prep material. I mean, it's great and all, but they got a lot of things wrong. They pretty much have a monopoly for that. In general, 5 Steps to a 5 books are stellar when it comes to the AP exams. There are a few books in general that are available for everyone to use. They're probably better than 5 Steps, so I'll be putting the specific books in the links down below. In future videos, I'm probably going to be going over my Common App essay, what schools I applied to, my supplemental essays, extracurriculars, as well as like continue my vlogs. From the very beginning of senior year, I was filming my reactions to opening my acceptances and rejections, but there's a lot of bad memories I've had with those. But if a great number of y'all want to see it, I guess I'll post it at some point. Let me know in the comments below. I don't know. Anyways, if you found this video to be very helpful, then be sure to like and subscribe, send in comments and questions below. You know the vibes. And I'll see y'all later. Bye!